scream. I know I had to bloody.
Bad guys dealt with.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm frustrated.
Time to fight.
I'm really, really frustrated. And my reason for that is every single time the game freezes, there's a chance of fucking up my ego heavily to the point where I can't actually do what I can't actually fucking course these guys. I'm pissed off as it is.
Cessation of hostilities complete.
And now I get a shot because Twitch is being fucking bitch again.
Uh-oh. Fighting over.
It requires some addition.
Between you and me, how can I illuminate?
Hey!
Oh, you're back.
Hey! I got a super rare Mojave snow globe here. All you gotta do is reach down into my bread slot. Greetings, citizen. Greetings, citizen. Now you're... Not anymore.
Press A button, B button, A button, and I think I have infinite scroll. Audio on phones just fucked.
Trying to steal the H2 transmitter array antenna, are you? You won't succeed. Not if my lethal robo-scorpions have any say in the matter.
Sneaking done. Fighting now.
Three. Soccer Mobius, 0. I see you. Intruder, return what you have stolen from X2.
I don't know.
Was that all?
I don't honestly love this game. This one is
Did you retrieve? What? You did? Yes. I've got it. The cardiac regulator in the suit. I'm thinking. Was you? What, put you back together like some I mean, but for now, it can be you. The door should be unsealed. Now, and that message, the lobotomy. Why, yes, although the look at these. I notice these. Yeah, I, discovered.
Let's just finish this, guys. I appreciate your office. I don't know if
Ready, steady, fighting. Harvested back.
really good. However, I feel like
Roll, Scorpion! Attack me!
rather than
Go, my minion! Sting them in the night! You're no match for science! Ow!
That's all.
this DLC.
Prepare to be attacked by
This
Dr.
one looks pretty
Morbius!
tough.
You won't escape me!
Where I go now,
Go, my minion! Sting them in the name of all that is Morbius!
consistently responding. It makes it causing people.
Injecting stim pack. We're out of stim packs. Maybe you'd be better off with an underduck suit.
Scorpion, attack! You're no match for science!
No more stim packs.
Yeah, I know. That's how I know too. 'Cause I'm max level
No more
Max
stim
stats
packs.
in most of these weapons. I'm literally maxed out in all these weapons, and it's taking. I started this DLC with over 200 snipers in total, including over 70 super stimpaks and I believe 50 to 60 normal stimpaks. By the time I wasn't even, by the time I completed half the game, half the DLC, I was completely out. After the first encounter, I was down, I think it was 25. And as you can see, I am once again completely out of all healing supplies. And it's even more
Scorpion, attack!
I can't give you anything for that injury.
Yeah, I know. Oh, one, two more takes place, like I said. I have nothing.
No more stim packs.
Attention visitors! Combat experiment in progress.
Oh my god, another boss fight? Really?
No more stim packs.
This is a pre-recorded message indicating my style to commit biosolutions and destroy protocol in the name of all that is Morbius!
Stimpaks. Maybe you'd be better off with an otter duck suit.
Is this thing on? This is Mobius.
Was that all?
We're initiating some kind of emergency test shutdown.
Who do you think is cuter? Dr. Klein or Dr. Glass?
Forbidden. 3 as in tree. 2 as in two. 1 as in none. Oh, the emergency overload is initiated.
I don't want to leave that.
Nobody ever notices me, but they notice the Pip-Boy light.
There's a lot of mentats. Holy shit. Holy shit, that is a lot of mentats. That's insane. Let's get it started. There's a fuck ton of oh, that's insane. Why is there so many mentats? Must have a massive mental problem. I want to thank you all for tuning in so far anyway. We're almost at the end of the stream.
I'm running out of floor space for my calculations.
Pip-Boy lights on.
Sneak. Alright. I'm reason why I sneak around so that I don't get caught by that guy until I'm ready to confront him.
Hmm? Oh!
I'm just gonna skip the dialogue. I got a reason for that.
Now. Oh! Really? Well, it's simple. Despite their many failings, they are rather bright. Without something to distract them, make them afraid, they would simply deduce what had happened. Yes, very good. I should have mentats in just you instead of the other way around. Mentats. In any event, you showed up at the think tank, and because you had suffered a cranial injury in just the right place, bullets in the head are usually much more fatal, and yours was a light case of bullet headitis. That gave the think tank the knowledge its brains couldn't possess. With that knowledge, the procedure can be reversed. If they obtain that procedural data, they can use it to mush and modify their cranial cells into hosts to slip past the radar fence. And once they're off the reservation... Oh, no. I doubt your brain would be so unreasonable. It already knows the trick of it, you see. Doesn't need to be in a host body at all. If you become friends... I could... Yeah?
who finally dragged themselves in out of the wasteland. And where have we been, Crawling through pits of radioactive muck again? Ah, lovely. Figured that out, have we? Would you like a cookie? Yes, well, believe me, the opposite is equally true. Good Lord, have you bathed at all since they pulled me out of you? Well, I see sarcasm hasn't eluded you. Fine, perhaps now isn't the best time, but it's the principle of the thing. Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me, quote, dick, unquote. As if I'm the one responsible for the way you carry on gadding about the wastes. I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus-infested ancient vaults or go charging off to New Vegas on missions of ill-conceived revenge. And have we forgotten who got us shot in the head and buried in a shallow grave? Do you think I enjoyed that little moment? I most certainly am not. I am the seat of all reason and logic in our little partnership. All those feelings that motivate you, that sense of righteousness and that rush you get when you help someone, do you know where those come from? Glands. They come from glands. Free of the tyranny of your ape-like and primitive endocrine system, I can see how foolish your motives are. Well, look, it's all a very complex system of biofeedback and other things I wouldn't expect you to understand. Oh, all right. Perhaps I am, but at least I'm logical about it. I'm not going to lie to you. The prospect is definitely not that appealing. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have peace, quiet, and safety. Well, barring the odd rogue scorpion. In your head, I've got poison, radiation, grisly injuries, and biological functions. Do you know how much more you can get done when you're not constantly looking for places to urinate? It's quite a lot, I can tell you. Overrated biological feedback. Believe me, you only feel that way because you've got all that meat. Oozing hormones. I suppose you're right. That does call certain assumptions into question, doesn't it? Indeed, quite the conundrum. I suppose there might be some advantage to that, yes. There's a chance that the reintegration would create some improved synergy between us.
So, what do you say, Brain? Join me for more wild adventures?
Well, I suppose you've convinced me well enough. I'll rejoin your body if that's your final decision. Unfortunately, before we get to that stage of the proceedings, we have a problem. Even if I could settle myself back in your skull and reconnect all those pesky nerve endings, Dr. Mobius doesn't have the tools. We would have to make use of Dr. Klein's lab, and I rather doubt the brain. And you believe them? Once I'm delivered into their clutches, they'll find a way past the radar fence and the whole Mojave will be there. And that is assuming, of course, that one of them doesn't take a fancy to our body and decide to slip his own brain into it instead. Well, I suppose I do miss those endorphin rushes when we save the day. All right, what's the plan? Right. Look out, think tank. This brain... I suppose now that we're reunited, you'll want to fill your torso up with those other meaty parts the think tank took from us. Personally, I think your upgrades are quite a bit better. But now that I'm with you, the Sync's autodock can plug them back in no problem. Right then, off we go. Klein will be in for a nasty shock when he realizes the pacification field won't work on a mind and body reunited.
I've now got hold of my brain. Is it in miscellaneous, I wonder? There's Ray's brain. Stay on. Oh. I don't have it.
Ready, steady, fighty.
No, thank you. I do not want to fight.
Was that all?
Oh, please, please!
Oops.
Nurse, this man's got a severe case of shoe lung.
Okay.
You require some additional...
Your spine is back in your body, but some advanced technologies remain. Your torso can now be crippled again, but your strength and damage threshold bonuses have been doubled +2. Oh, nice.
You require some additional...
Yeah, I would like my heart. The heart is back in your body. Some advanced technology remain. You're less resistant to poison, 50%. And robots are somewhat confused by you, 25% less likely to score a critical hit. But on the bright side, healing items are twice as effective. That's a good point. I've got healing supplies on standby.
Might I be of service?
Very good, sir.
The lobotomite returns. Ow!
Sneaking done. Fighting now.
How do you fire this thing? How do you fire this thing? Kill it! Kill it! I know what my weapons do. I don't even know what my weapons do.
Was that all?
I feel like I'm missing something. I know I can kill him, so that's fine. Let's see what happens if I do it over dialogue.
The lobotomite return.
Sneaking
all
done.
they do?
Fighting now.
The lobotomite. I recommend watching your tone. Now, your... And what? With it, we can find... And we have... Nonsense!
Dr. Klein, I must intersect. Please, do not harm the lobotomite.
I'm not going to harm it.
I cannot stand a sweet breathing organism breathing in and out to suddenly not breathe. We must keep it.
Gala, these vocalized pauses are...
Klein, you know, this lobotomite, it's a great sounding board. You respect ideology.
Silence, Dr. O. This is a think tank.
You know what, Klein? Stick a straw in your tank. And my name is Zero. Yeah.
The slash as a designator of... Why, that is brilliant. But how did...
The lobotomite taught me that. You know what? Forget it, Klein. I hate you.
How? It's 2-8. Why are you acting like this? You've never refused. What is wrong with you? You sound brain...
If I may, I feel as if I must be the voice of reason here. This lobotomite is much... Instead of ending its life on the table, we should prolong
her out
its
by
suffering
going back twice.
in
I
the
thought I
name
got
of
something.
science. Like good old Gabe, the finest of lab specimens.
Why am I even listening to you fools? Enough of this mutinous chorus. If there's a word I hate, it's mutiny. And the word jism, which never made any sense to me. It's ridiculous putting j and zm together like that. Nonsense! I count as 5, like the mighty human hand I once had, with its 5 penises clenched in a fist. Nonsense! If this were a democracy, I would be concerned. We are to... You dare use logic against me? That's no deal at all. There's a whole world beyond the crater, filled with ideas and possibilities. We could have escaped, seen it all for ourselves, tested it, prodded at it, made it squirm. For you? And for science? I have a strange sensation. Very well, partner. The think tank is at your service as long as you do not destroy us.
Boom. The best ending, I think.
The teddy bear lobotomite returns. My teddy bear. How can I assist?
What the fuck?
So is Mobius as twisted as he looked in person? Can't believe you...
So these are all now...
Thank you for what you have done. I feel an odd...
Alright, cool. And that's how you finish it without bloodshed. Nice.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The courier had scoured much of the Big Empty, although secrets still remained in the crater's depths. Perhaps that was for the best, however. Curiosity, while sometimes rewarded for its efforts, often proves to be equally dangerous.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him overmuch. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The Biological Research Station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magnetohydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the big empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other sink personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind-eye old Jefferson eventually discovered a new sound. Silence. It only made him more filled with the blues than before. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names much too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after, the stealth suit had left it without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
Dr. Klein and the think tank remained alive, unaware of the world outside. They looped through their daily routine, none the wiser about the world beyond, although perhaps wiser was the wrong word. The world outside belonged to the courier, and if anyone would shape it, well, the courier had already called dibs.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, old world blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was old world blues, and new world hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal Ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The Sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
Your brain is back in your body, but some events no longer doesn't mean your head still cannot be crippled. Oh, good. Cannot be crippled for the final couple of missions. You're 10% more resistant to addictions. Presently, your damage threshold improved by 10%, a minimum of 1. You acquire the Big Mounting Transportal Ponder is capable of transporting you and you alone between Mojave and Big Empty. To return, we'll go back to the airport to simply equip. I do it. Oh.
Huzzah, sir! Huzzah! Huzzah, sir! Might I be safe in the assumption that matters with the think tank had been...
Why can't I stop singing this fucking song?
That's the only place I really want to go to. Elijah's Watch. After this, we'll head back to the Big MT, and then we'll teleport.
Fighting over. Sneaking done. Fighting now. Fighting over. This one looks pretty tough. Oh no, we're out of medics. Bad guys dealt with.
So, I'm going to call it here. We've completed pretty much all of the DLC. There's like, what, 3 locations left in the game? 4? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sorry. We'll run through them tomorrow, or later on today, and do the finale. So it's the next Fallout New Vegas episode is the last. And I do thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate the support as always. With my analysis, that's good. Stay safe. I love you all, and